I think I like being alone. Kind of weird because I haven't really ever actually said that out loud to anyone ever in my life. So saying that to my camera for the first time is it's pretty interesting. But I was just thinking about how most of the videos where I talk about being alone and loneliness, I'm mostly talking about the downsides of it. I just wanted to talk about some of the positive things about being by yourself most of the time, because there are a lot of positives, honestly. When you spend so much time with yourself, it gets really easy to filter out who's real and who's not. When I say who's real, I mean like someone that you can actually trust. You tend to not click with many people that easily ever because you're so isolated. You don't like spending your time with people, and that's fine. But it usually ends up being the issue where you don't have many friends at all because you're so picky with who you're trying to choose to spend your time with. So that's why I say you don't really click with many people that well. And because of that, you can kind of tell who is being real and authentic and who is just trying to get something out of you, or you can tell when someone doesn't really care that much. That's another thing, is you can tell when someone actually cares or not. It's like a superpower for introverts, honestly. It's kind of crazy that just by spending so much time with myself and just managing my time as it is, you can kind of see those things in other people, and you can for sure tell when someone's passionate about something and when someone just doesn't care, or they're just like looking off somewhere, spacing out because they just don't care. Because you see the things that you do and all these other people, and you ask yourself, what kind of friend do I want? The more I was thinking about it, the more I realized that I would definitely not want to have someone that's like an opposite of me, because the whole thing of opposites attract doesn't really work for friendships that well, honestly. It's a lot easier to find someone as an introvert who is also quiet. Things are a lot more mellow that way. Obviously, they can have different kind of outlooks on life and different ideas, but the kind of actions that they take, like being quiet and being introverted, those things are very helpful for someone who is introverted themselves to be around someone else like that, because they will most likely understand the kind of things that you've been dealing with. So as you're kind of navigating your way through finding like-minded people like that, just keep that in mind, that other introverts will most likely understand what you're trying to say. Extroverts probably won't at all. Unless they've been lonely at one point, then I guess they could, but that's just one part of being alone a lot, is that you get these kind of like superpowers-ish kind of things where you kind of just see things in other people that others might not be able to see that well at all. And I'm honestly proud of the superpowers that I have. It's very cool. Another thing is that you can kind of master how you spend your time. Like you can get really good at organizing how your day will go, because you're not worrying about other people. You're not worrying about what other people think. You're just worrying about yourself and your time, and that's it. I see all these extroverted people, they're on social media at least, they're always complaining about having like all these fake friends, like gossiping behind their backs and stuff, or just like fake relationships and this and that happened. And then I'm just thinking to myself, well, that's just what happens when you throw yourself at like 20 people at once. When someone says they have like 20 friends that they're close with, I'm like, you have 20 friends that you're actually close with. I have one or two. And if it really comes down to my 2 close friends keeping a secret, or their 20 best friends keeping a secret, I will bet on my 2 friends all day long. I feel like extroverts get screwed over a lot more than introverted people do, or quiet people. Quiet people are just so reserved. They never waste energy on anything. And if they're trying to make a friend, they will be testing them before they're like, like, oh, this is my best friend. Like, no, they're getting put through the tests and everything, right? I gotta make sure I'm like not wasting my time with these few friends that I have, right? Back to my main point. I like to be alone. I just don't know if it's the best thing for me mentally, because sometimes here and there I just have like this outer world like feeling of like what am I doing with my life? And I wonder, do other people also think like this? Do other people just think, what am I doing? Like what am I doing? Like literally, like what am I existing for? Like those are the kind of thoughts I get in my head when I spend so much time by myself. I'm just wondering, do extroverted people or just other people just have this kind of like, not brain fog, but like this just realization that we're just existing and it doesn't really matter what you do? I think about that for some reason a lot. Not a lot, but like certain days and once a couple months or something, I just have these thoughts. And I know they're not good, but I can't stop wondering about these things that just don't really matter at all. The more time I spend by myself, the more I just think deeper and deeper about these topics. I've also realized that I talk about loneliness and being alone quite a lot on this channel, but it's like the main thing that has brought all these people together commenting on my videos and stuff. And I'm glad to see that people can relate to all of this, because it's a very special thing to be posting videos like this where there's just no editing, nothing, no dopamine, just boom, 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 none of that. I'm trying to do the opposite of that. Like, this is like a dopamine detox. Like, if you're watching this, then like you're doing a good job, like not scrolling on your phone, you know? I'm totally straying away from the main point here, but that's just what's been on my mind lately. It gets exhausting sometimes, you know? There's been moments where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I had like 5 different people to like get an opinion on for this video that I'm doing or something, right? I have those thoughts sometimes where it crosses my mind, like, oh man, I really wish there were just more people in my life. But then I'm also just seeing all the downsides of having like a ton of friends. It's just so much gossip, so much untrustworthy material, right? All of these negatives just make me glad that it's just me and on my own, right? It kind of eases the blow a little bit. Like I'm just chilling, right? Like I'm like, oh man, I don't think I'm really missing out on anything, am I? Especially as a 19-year-old, this is like the prime age to just be like wasting your time, you know? If it's either you're wasting your time or you're working really hard towards something, and I'm really working hard towards stuff right now, so I don't want to waste my time with 20 different people just messing around, you know? I was watching these YouTube videos, this one guy that I watched, and he was straight up saying, he does videos like this, by the way, but he was straight up saying that he would drink every single day for like 2 weeks straight and do absolutely nothing but party. And I was just like, this isn't the only guy that's doing that. There's so many other people that are doing this, wasting their lives like this, and I don't want to be that, ever. It's a scary thought to think about how many weeks I've potentially wasted in my life already, just playing video games or whatever, right? I have for sure wasted weeks upon weeks of my life at this point that I can't ever get back, but I don't want to stop trying. I think the number one thing is to just not stop. Don't stop, and don't stop trying either. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're reserved or extroverted or whatever, right? Life throws curveballs at us, right? And those curveballs will be different depending on a quiet person or a very outgoing person. It will be different for sure. So my struggles might not be the same as yours, but that's just how life is, I guess. Totally went on a whole side rant here about random stuff, but I'm thinking, should I change? That's the real question. Should I be less introverted, or am I just good as how I am right now? Something to think about. Stay positive.